We need women who are aware of the problems women face at home to bring that to work with them, to discuss it among themselves, and to make changes within their working environment, to make changes in government policies to adapt to these needs. And then we need, of course, women in national parliament, and I'll discuss that a little bit later. Just to give you some statistics, in the first level, and this is in the bureaucracy in the Philippines, in the first level, which is really just ministerial work, clerical work, women, there are 22% women. In the next level, which is professional, technical, and scientific positions, 76% are women. This is in the Philippines. So there's a big jump. 76% are women, much bigger than the men. However, the third level, which is the career executives, the ministers, the secretaries, the undersecretaries, 0.3%. So why is it that we have all these qualified women, professionals, technical knowledge, scientific background, 76% of them, and then only 0.3 go to the next level? Why? What do we do with that wealth of knowledge and experience? Where are they? How can we tap them? How do we get them to the level where they can genuinely contribute? Not that they don't contribute at their level, but we need them in higher positions. And this is a fact, and this is prevalent in many countries. If any of you would like, the IPU does have this study that it produces. It's a big chart that shows women's positions around the world, and we can provide you with that. Just let me know later on, and we can give you that. And then on elective positions, let me just give you a quick scenario to show you the setting in the Philippines. When it comes to senators, there are 4 women out of 19. In the lower house, there are 32 out of 128. In board members, which are the provincial legislators, there are 123 out of 635. That's about 16%. And in councilors, which are the town and the municipal and the city legislators, there are 2,000 as opposed to 10,000, so less than 20%. So the representation of women are still very small. Now, as I said, I was asked to speak about women in parliament, and I had also mentioned that I belong to the IPU. The IPU is an international organization of parliaments of sovereign states that has been in existence since 1889, and it is really the place where members of parliament from all over the world can come together and dialogue for various issues that are affecting different countries, similar to what the United Nations does. And we in fact work very closely with the United Nations. Now, the IPU is very keen on gender mainstreaming. It has a policy on gender equality that promotes the participation of women in government, in politics, and in the IPU. Very specifically, I now sit in the executive committee, and we review the budget from a gender perspective. We ensure that the activities of the IPU, and for that matter, the activities that we carry on in our own countries can be mirrored in the sense that it should have a gender perspective. We have a gender partnership group that ensures that countries that are members of the IPU have women in politics, encourage more women in politics, and bring the women to the IPU meetings so that they can meet other women and gain the knowledge that the other women have. Very briefly, the history here is that some 20 years ago, women members of parliament realized that there was not enough support and not enough going on, not enough discussions on women's issues. And I actually was surprised to find out that our current president of CAPWIC, Dr. Jung Suk Kim, and also the founding president of CAPWIP, Kunying Supatra Masdit, were members of the IPU and were founding members of the women's movement in the IPU. So it is wonderful that I find myself now speaking before CAPWIP among women that I am now thankful for the opportunities that they have also given young parliamentarians like me. But so much has happened since this coordinating committee of women was formed in 1990, such that we now have a whole day of meetings dedicated only for women so that they can freely discuss issues. I don't like to call them women's issues because they are issues that affect everyone, but we look at it from a women's perspective. On that day, we ensure that everything is viewed from a women's perspective. And as president of the coordinating committee, I go to the other standing committees, and my input, aside from the input from the Philippine perspective, will always have an input on the gender perspective, and we encourage members to do the same. So that is also what my task is. I know there are a lot of parliamentarians here, and we ask that in everything you do, you include a gender perspective there, because that is a voice that is not heard often enough. Just very quickly, we have less than 20% of women in parliament. This is the general average based on the statistics of equality in politics, a survey conducted by the IPU. To break it down, in the next slide, it'll show you that in Nordic countries, there are more women in politics. That's about 44%. In European countries, other than Nordic countries, about less than 20%. The same with Asia, same.